be in a big city in the center of the country, and she now resides in Lincoln Park with her husband, who, as you know, is good at yelping. It's not yelping. Somebody was yelping back here. She's the co-founder of the mentorship program Field Notes, which provides a platform for students from Chicago's architecture schools and design professionals to engage in conversation. Nora did her training in architecture and was practicing architecture at Adrian Smith and Gordon Gill. She used to enjoy runs by Lake Michigan, running by herself or with co-workers and friends. 13 months ago, she had a medical condition which took her out of the workplace and changed her perspective forever. Nora's likeness is tattooed on her husband, Paul, and underneath it says, Nora likes naps, snacks, and architecture.
Accessibility is an afterthought determined by code. This should not be the case. When reality is exposed, a better understanding is achieved. My personal experience at each stage in my journey has led to a new perspective of hospitals, accessibility, and daily living. 17 months ago, I presented at PechaKucha with the slide on my brain. Doctors were searching for a cause of a seizure. This is a series of images from that MRI. Nobody saw the warning signs. 4 months later, I had a massive bleed in my cerebellum measuring 7 centimeters, the largest bleed the surgeon had seen. A craniotomy was performed and the blood was removed. My life was saved, but it was unclear if I would be a vegetable. I'm not a vegetable, and somehow I don't have any mental problems or memory loss. Because the bleed was in the cerebellum, my coordination is affected. This doesn't just mean dancing. Many functions that you think of as automatic, I've had to relearn. I had double vision, so I had to wear Coke-bottom glasses. I was tube-fed for 50 days because I couldn't swallow. My voice obviously didn't sound like this before. My once dominant right hand jumps when I use it. My biggest hurdle is my balance, making it difficult to walk. I had to rely on a wheelchair, then walker, then cane. They became part of my everyday life. I've gone from not being able to lift my head, to hardly standing, to walking. I'm young and I have a lot to achieve. I won't accept being a victim. I want to return to the person I was before my life took a hairpin turn. I want to come back, but I will have a new perspective. Perspectives of a building can change by proximity. My view towards architecture has changed as I've needed more assistance. I want to integrate that understanding into design and into architecture. Isn't this boring? This is what I looked at for a month. Ugly in the corridor, in the elevator, everywhere. And my view wasn't this clear because our vision sucked and I was on a lot of drugs. Obviously, living in a wheelchair is a challenge, but it's normal life for many. Wheelchair living requires constant mapping out of accessible routes and surfaces like bathrooms and destinations like restaurants. result of my walker Google search. Not many choices for walkers, as in 2. And most simple walkers require tennis balls. I had a pair of Wilson number 3s. What also comes up? Zombies, dog walkers, and pole walker. These are detectable warnings are for the blind. Horrible for walkers and buckets. The bumps are just the wrong distance apart. Walker wheels have to be on them at one end, between them at the other. I can do stairs, but handrails are a necessity. Many health conditions prevent the use of both sides of the body. I like to go up and down stairs, which means I need a handrail on each side, or it's dangerous. This is Chris Downey. He's a blind architect. Chris became blind 3 years ago and was not deterred from his passion. His perspective changed. Here's a quote from Chris. Materials have taken on new significance for me. Traditionally, material palettes are developed for their visual composition. I now like to expand this to a textural, tactile palette. I like to think of the front door handle as the handshake of the building. The feel of the grip that speaks volumes. Iconic micrograves is known by architects for his postmodern buildings in the 80s. For many, he is famous for the numerous projects he designed, creating a line for Target. His signature tea kettle is still #1. Graves was paralyzed from his chest down from an infection. He spent 7 months in a hospital. His condition left him in a wheelchair for the remainder of his life. To better understand, he made his architect hire spend a week in a wheelchair. Motivated by his time in hospitals, Graves designed functional and visually pleasing products to better serve the patients. Unfortunately, I've only seen the wheelchair he designed once in all my days of therapy. My perspective has changed as I've experienced the gamut of hospitals and devices. Through it all, I have never wanted design to be sacrificed for ease of use. The two can go hand in hand. We have a responsibility as architects to design for accessibility without just designing for building code. Thank you.